Hey, what's going on? My name is Michael. You guys are watching IDB, and in this video I want to talk about my iPhone 15 Pro Max. It's hard to believe that this phone has been out for 8 months. It feels like I just got this phone, and this phone has been amazing for me. I recently went on a vacation, and this phone came in handy so many times. And in this video, I want to talk about 5 features on this iPhone 15 Pro Max that came in handy when I was on my trip. So let's go ahead, roll the intro, and jump right in. So first up at number 1 is the action button. If you don't know, the action button is an all-new button that Apple has added to the iPhone, and it replaces the mute switch, which has been present on every other iPhone. This makes doing certain actions a lot faster, and it came in really handy. So on my trip, I rotated between 3 different options for my action button. Number 1 was the camera, number 2 was the flashlight, and number 3, which was probably my favorite, was translate. So first up is the camera. It was really convenient where I had my iPhone in my pocket. I'd reach in my pocket and I kind of had this muscle memory figured out where I could have my finger on the action button before I even took my phone out of my pocket. That way I could start launching the camera before I even had my iPhone ready in my hand. So having that camera shortcut triggered to 1 button really makes getting your camera open a lot faster. And if you want to get that last minute photo, it really comes in handy. The other way I use it is the flashlight. So when we were walking around Mexico at night, sometimes there isn't that good of lighting at nighttime, and it was very handy at nighttime especially to set my action button to the flashlight. That way I can take my iPhone right out of my pocket and have instant light from the back of my phone. And then finally at number 3, this was probably my favorite feature of the action button during the entire trip. It was using translate. So you can set up the translate option inside of the settings, and then whichever language conversion you have set up in the translate application, that's going to be your default for the action button. So for me, I had English to Spanish because we were in Mexico. Sometimes no one speaks even a lick of English when I was over there, so this came in very handy. All I would have to do is press and hold down the action button, say whatever I want into my iPhone, and then it translates it into Spanish right there. So if you are an avid traveler or you need to do a lot of language conversion, using the action button for translate is going to be a huge feature. Next up at number 2 is the new USB-C port on the iPhone 15 and the 15 Pro obviously. So Apple updated the entire iPhone 15 lineup with USB-C, and finally, so now pretty much all of my accessories and technology now charge with 1 cable. This was handy for 2 reasons. 1, I can bring 1 cable on my trip and charge literally everything, which was fantastic. I no longer have to bring a lightning cable. And number 2, when I was in the airport, I was able to charge my AirPods using my iPhone, which came in really handy because the night before I forgot to charge my AirPods. My AirPods Pro were sitting on like 4% in the airport. Luckily, I had a USB-C to lightning cable in my bag. I plugged the USB-C end into my iPhone, the lightning end into my AirPods, and I got just enough juice in my AirPods case to last the entire flight. So having this USB-C port on the iPhone able to charge other accessories is a really cool feature. Next up at number 3 is the camera system. I want to specifically focus on the 5x zoom lens. So while I'm on vacation, I do like to take a lot of photos, but that is not what I want to focus on for this video. It's actually kind of funny. So I liked using the 5x lens as sort of a telescope. The zoom on the iPhone is now good enough where it can actually see stuff that my eyes can't. So I remember we were sitting at the pool and we wanted to know what time the towel shack opened at, and I couldn't really see it from across the pool. So I open up my iPhone, I go into the 5x zoom lens and I zoom all the way in, and I'm able to see that it opens at 8 a.m. So this thing allows me to see things that even my own eyes can't. Yes, I was a bit lazy, I could have just got up and gone and looked at it, but that's why I have a 5x zoom on my iPhone. Definitely came in handy. Next up at number 4 is the display on the 15 Pro Max. This thing gets so darn bright, and it was very handy when we were out walking on the beach and the sun was beaming directly on my iPhone. If you don't know, iPhones can go into a different super brightness mode when it detects sunlight. So if you're just in an inside room with normal lighting, your iPhone can get pretty bright, but your iPhone knows when you're outdoors and it can detect sunlight, and it can boost the brightness even higher than when you're indoors. When I was outside, I was astounded at how long my iPhone could stay bright for, let alone how bright it could get. The thing I like about this phone is compared to my previous phone, the 14 Pro Max, it could get as bright, but it only stayed bright for maybe like a minute. Luckily, this 15 Pro Max has a way more efficient chip. So not only was it able to get to that 2000 nits of brightness, but it was able to stay at that level for a pretty long period of time. I'd say about 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes was just enough for me to be able to see our maps and our directions on my phone to find our way back to our hotel. So it definitely came in handy and was very clutch, where we could actually see our phone display in the bright pounding sunlight when we were outside trying to get directions. And then finally, at number 5, it is the battery. So I've heard a lot of reports online on Twitter and other places of people saying that the battery on the 15 Pro Max is not that good. I have no idea where that's coming from, because the battery on this phone for me is just fantastic. I think this is the best battery life that we've ever had in an iPhone. It gives me a sort of confidence I've never had with any other iPhone's battery before. And it's almost to the level where I could be at 20% or 15%. And if I'm going out for the night and it's like 6 p.m., I have complete confidence that I can throw this phone into low power mode and it's gonna last me well past midnight. And this actually did happen. So we were going out, it was about 6:30, my phone was at 20%, I put it into low power mode, and my iPhone was still alive in time for us to get back to the hotel, even using Uber and using maps, and I think my phone was at like 5% when we got back. So this phone gives me a certain confidence that it's just not gonna die, and it's gonna keep extending the battery life so I can get every bit of juice out of it, which is definitely some nice peace of mind to have from your smartphone. And also, you're probably wondering what this thing is on the back of my iPhone. This is the Luxe 4 by OSnap. This is probably the best phone grip I've ever had, and honestly, they're not sponsoring this video. This is probably just my favorite phone accessory ever. So first up, it is just a phone grip. So you can stick your fingers through it and it can grip your phone like this. It's also a stand, so on the airplane, it was nice how I could have a stand on my iPhone just like this, and I could prop it up on the tray table and watch movies. And then the third way this thing is awesome is this ring is actually magnetic. So when I was working out in the gym at our hotel, I was able to stick this right on the squat rack, which was amazing. It also works in the kitchen, so if you're FaceTiming someone, you can stick it right to your fridge or your stove. This thing is probably, like I said, the best phone accessory I've ever had, and it also makes your MagSafe a lot stronger. Again, they are not sponsoring this video. I just want to quickly shout out this product because I love it, and I'll have a link down below if you want to check it out. So with all that said, that's going to do it for me in this video. If you found this video informative, helpful, entertaining, anything, please drop a like and also comment your thoughts down below. My name is Michael with IDB. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.